Hi guys, MacMan here. So last video you saw me doing an unboxing of some of this Lee product and the inline fabrication mount. So we're gonna get this turret open on this one. So get rid of these staples out of the way to start with. So it's my first time ever owning, buying or using one of these Lee presses. I've never had any of these Lee product presses before. So we've got the pull handle, little wooden top on it. Got some bag with some accessories, some bolts, primer system, everything in there. Looks like there's the new Lee catalogue with all the products. Always good to have, always good to look through those. Instruction manual, which I was told is pretty important to read this to make sure we get the timing right on this classic press. So we'll do that a little bit later. With the plastic tube. And here's the press itself. Looks quite a nice looking press. To be honest, like I said, this is my first time with any sort of press from Lee, and we're going to give it a go today. We're going to see how it performs. So I bought the inline fabrication mount. Let's drop this down a little bit. So I bought the inline fabrication mount for the press. So we're going to get that mounted up today as well, and I can get it over on one of the stands, and we can get this baby put together. Looks like it just sits there, all lines up. Let's get the bolt package open up here. Everything from inline fabrication just seems to fit perfectly first time. Don't have to mess around with it. It's just such good quality product. And these quick change adapters to go on these presses are all great. I really like them. Seems to be. There we go. Let me get some wrenches here. Don't forget, guys, Mac tool ratchets, Mac tool sockets, they're the best out there. Mac tool Allen keys. If you want the best equipment in your loading room, you need the best tools. Don't forget, Mac tools #1. Okay guys, so we've got it actually mounted. I got it mounted on the inline fabrication mount. Really nice and sturdy. I got no movement in it. That's pretty sweet. And now obviously we've got to run through and get the handle on here. So, and then the bolt, and then the bracket, and this little sleeve with teeth in it. It looks like it just matches up with teeth on the side of the press, obviously to stop the arm turning. So that's just going to mount on there. So if you just start that bolt up a little bit, and then the arm itself just drops down into there. Start tightening that up. So that's all the way up there. Take that down a bit. So that needs to come all the way down. There you go, and now I can set the arm up. Just do this finger tight first. I'll just nip it just to make sure I can get in the right angles on this. So the lever can come down all the way up and travel with clearance. Everything's moving okay by the looks of it. A little bit of lubrication on there. I think this handle can come down a bit. I don't think I need it quite that high. Down to about there. Flip the ratchet around a bit. That feels better. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. I got a little bit of an angle here. The bar has got a slight bend in it for the arm. I think it's for clearance for your hand. And I think that's working quite nice there. So let's get this tightened up, buttoned up nice and tight. Okay. And they've also said to lube up everything before you use it. So this is the lube I bought from Dillon's. It's a light oil that I use. You can use it on all the joints. So I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in all the contact areas. Just to get it nicely lubed up. Over here. And also put a little bit on the ram. And a little bit on the mechanism for turning everything, so everything's nicely lubed. Through. Now that feels so much better. Don't know if I need to actually lube the tool head at all. It just says to lube all the joints, anything that moves. Give it a touch of lube. And there you go. Looks like it's set up on the bench nice. It's just to decide which dies I want to set up in this. I'm not going to run the primer system on this because normally I'm just going to use my RCBS bench primer. I normally do it all on the bench primer, but I'll have it set up one day and have a look to see how it works. But normally I'm going to do it all over there, all my priming. This is literally just going to be for loading once I've prepped the brass and it's all primed. So I think I'm going to set this up with 9mm to start with. So I got my Redding number 13 shell holder, so you can drop that in there. And with me sizing and priming these in a different stage, I will not need to put the sizer of the deprimer in here. So we're going to run with this is a Redding expander die, and one of the coloured dies. So we can turn that up, put that on. Drop that in there. Take this all the way up, out of the way. So bring the ram up. Let's drop this down. It's coming down and just contacting the bottom of the die. Nice. So then I can bring this down. Just nip at the nut, and I'm just gonna just nip that up a little bit. Okay. Just put contact in it there. Okay, so that's going to be my expander die. So the next one now is going to be the auto drum powder measure, and with the dies for that. So we'll get that one done next. Okay guys, so you saw me setting the expander die in. Now I put the powder funnel in, and what I did was I screwed the die into the body of the powder dropper, brought it down, screwed it down into the case, brought this all the way up, and then screwed this down into the case until I was getting the correct, bring it around this side. Till I was getting the correct rotation point here. So I was getting down, so it was going to drop okay. And if you can see here, there's a little block that slides up and down here. You don't want this hitting the bottom of the powder measure. You want it just coming up and just stopping short. Tiny little gap so it doesn't put any pressure and break that pin. But you can see there, as I bring the ram up, I'm getting my full rotation now onto the body here, and I think that's going to be just about perfect. Back around the other side. So the next one I'm going to bring in the seating die. So I'm going to be using the Redding seating die. So I put the little lock ring on. I brought the ram up with the 9mm shell in there, which is a brand new shell, brand new case, hasn't been sized or nothing. So I can bring this down, and it's just contacting the case now. So I believe this one has actually got a crimp into it, which I'm not going to be using it for the crimp. So it's just come down and touch the case. So I'm just going to back it out like half a turn, and then hold that, and then I can tighten this ring back down, because I don't want this part of the process crimping my crimping my brass. And then this is a little plastic wrench, just can tighten the ring up. So that's tightened up, and then I just nip the little ring up as well, just to give it just that little bit more. So there's that one set. And the seating part of it. The seating part of it, I'll adjust that when you run it through. So I can just get that started in there. Okay. And then the last one then is going to be my crimp. And I'm going to be using the Lee 9mm factory crimp die for as my last station on here. So we can get that one out. Again, it's got the lock ring and everything on there. And just wind that back a touch. Let's take that back a little bit. Bring the case up. Let's just turn that down. That's coming down and just contacting there. So I'll be able to adjust that one down as I need to, but I think it's just about right there. Just tighten that up. And I must admit, these clips, these lock-in rings seem really nice. The tool Lee supplies for tightening them down. Yeah, this little tool that Lee supplied to lock these rings down, I don't like. It's just too fiddly. It doesn't seem to want to sit in them nice. I don't really know what the story is behind this, whether they don't want us tightening them up too much, but for me, guys, I think it's pretty crap. Not a very good idea. But that one's nipped up there now. So there are my dies in. Hopefully they're all in there right. And when I start to run everything through here, we'll come back and finish off the video. Okay guys, so I've got the expander shaft in the die now, and we're gonna go and expand up. So my cases are measuring, if you can see that, they're measuring 75 on there. So I'll just pop that in, bring it up into the expander, and then that one is measuring almost 81, so we've gone 6 thou. So we can adjust that just a touch more. 81. Let's take it down a touch more. Now we're at 88, so we've gone like 8 thou, just a little bit more. And we are at 88, so it's gone about 13 thou, and then it looks like the bullet goes in and sits pretty nice in there. So let me bring that up, hold the expander, just bring that down a touch. So now we're going to do the powder measure. Going to run some of this Hodgkins HP 38, which apparently is exactly the same as Winchester 231. So I've loaded up the powder hopper, and what's nice about the powder hopper is it's got a shut off, so you can actually fill the hopper, have this closed, powder doesn't come out, just drop it into your powder hopper. Powder hopper, and then you can just turn this and it opens up, so everything then is good to go through the hopper. So I'm going to check the book to see what charge I want, and then we'll start adjusting this. Okay, so I've got the powder hopper filled. I've primed the case. I've zeroed this case on the scales, and I've checked on the Winchester website for the weight of bullet, which is a 147 grain, and it's saying between 3 grains and 3.4 grains. So I'll bring this one up. This is rotated all the way around. Drop it down. I have powder in there. I'm just about to weigh that. So that one is exactly 3 grains. So I want to run 3.1. So I'm just going to turn this quarter of a turn. Bring this up. I'm just going to dump that charge. Get that one weighed. That one went to 3.3, so a little bit too much. So I'm just going to turn that back just a touch, and then I run a charge through, empty it. That is right on 3.1. I'm just going to make sure my shell is still zeroed. So my brass is still zeroed. I'm just going to run another one through. Drop the powder. And we are 3.2. So the charge for this is right. Next now is going to be seat in the bullet, so we'll come back when we're doing that. Okay, so we've done our charge, come around to the next station. and we're going to seat the bullet. So I'm going to have that just sit in nice in there, nice and square. Bring it up into the sizing die. Bring the seating die. Just bring that down to contact the bullet. Okay. So I'm just going to adjust that a little bit at a time. And I want to try and get this seated to the crimp groove, to the upper 90% of that crimp groove. So I need to come down just a touch more. Still needs a little bit more. Bring that one down. And take it a bit more. So we are almost there. I just want to go a little tiny bit more. And there we go. But just below the top of the bullet, still in the crimp groove on the upper 90%. And if I'm to measure this, we are at 1.154. 1.154. And if I check in the lineman book, the closest bullet I can find to this one is giving me 1.160, so I'm sitting at 1.150. And I've sized these at this length before, and they all function great in my revolver, in my pistols, or in the 3.9mm I got. That length functions perfect. So now we're going to go on to the next stage. We're going to go and crimp them. So I'm just going to take the crimp back a little bit first to start with. I want to give it a bit of a measure because I like to measure it myself. Put 182. 182. So I'm just adjusting the crimp down a little bit at a time. Until it starts to crimp for me. I'm doing this quarter turn at a time until I start to see it crimping. I think it's just starting to go in there now. A little quarter of a turn again. Touch more. go. I don't know if you can see that. That's just a nice crimp on there, and if I was to measure this, measure the crimp, it's 1.7, 1.1, sorry, 0.378, and so that's like a 4th thou. I've gone down on a crimp on that one, and that will work for me. So there you go, guys. That's me setting up this new Lee Classic turret press. First time I've owned a Lee press, like I said earlier on. I'm going to run through and make some more of these bullets up, and you know, it fits straight into the gauge. It's coming out, it's clicking in nice and just falling out, so that turned out pretty nice. I'm not going to get to shoot them this weekend, but I'll get to shoot these next weekend. So hope you enjoyed this, guys. Like I said, this was a total learning curve for me. If you think I've done something wrong, leave a comment in the bottom. But the first time I've set up this classic press, seemed to go okay. I think I've done it all right. The bullets turned out good, powders, everything's great in there. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and we'll catch you on the next.